Have you ever just felt that constant, nagging pressure to improve? You know, that little voice in your head that's always telling you to do more, be better, to just keep running? Well, today we're going to take a breath. We're going to explore where all that noise really comes from and how a tiny, simple shift in the words we use can honestly change everything.
So I invite you, just for the next few minutes, to close the door on the world outside. It's so loud out there, isn't it? Full of demands, expectations. But in here, let's just shut all of that out. We're not here to try and fix ourselves. We're here to understand ourselves.
This space, it's for you. It's a place to focus on a completely different landscape, your own inner world. A place where we can finally start to listen to that quieter voice inside, the one that usually gets drowned out by everything else. And you know, here, vulnerability isn't a weakness. It's actually the compass we're going to use to find our way back home.
Okay, so let's start with our inner dialogue, that constant stream of thoughts, judgments, and, well, critiques. We all have it, right? But when do we ever really stop and try to understand all that noise and where it's even coming from?
Do you ever feel that deep sense of exhaustion, a real weariness that comes from the subtle, constant pressure to be better, to do more, to optimize, and to perform? It's like you're running this endless race, but there's no finish line in sight. If that sounds even a little bit familiar, I just want you to know you are so not alone in that feeling.
Yeah, our inner world can be a really noisy, confusing landscape. It's just filled with all these prepackaged labels and expectations we've picked up along the way. The shoulds from our family, the musts from our jobs, that constant hum of pressure from social media. It's so easy to get lost in all of that and start to mistake that noise for who we actually are.
But what if the key to navigating this inner world isn't some big, complex psychological trick? What if the most powerful tool we have for finding clarity is actually something we use every single day? Let's talk about the incredible power of our words.
And this brings us to etymology. Now, I know that might sound a little academic, but think of it as one of the most powerful technologies for thought that we have. Seriously. By looking at where a word comes from, we're not just looking at its history. We're kind of looking at the source code of the idea itself. It lets us move past a knee-jerk emotional reaction and connect with its deepest, truest meaning.
And here's where a little bit of neuroscience comes into play. You see, studies in neurolinguistics actually show that the words we choose trigger different pathways in our brain. So when you consciously reframe an experience with a different word, you're not just playing a mind game. You are actively encouraging your brain to build new emotional and neurological connections to that very experience. You're literally rewiring. Okay, so let's make this really practical. I want to look at two powerful words that carry a lot of emotional weight for so many of us, and just see how this whole reframing thing works in real life. Let's start with the word responsibility. Just think about it for a second. What comes to mind? For a lot of people, it feels like this heavy burden. It gets all tangled up with blame and obligation and the weight of consequences. It feels like something you have to carry or maybe even avoid. But the word's origin tells a totally different story. Responsibility comes from the Latin word rispondere, which simply means to respond. Now just think about that shift. Being responsible isn't about carrying blame. It's about having the ability to respond to life. It moves you from a place of being a passive carrier of a burden to a place of active, creative power. And this simple little reframe, it just brilliantly illustrates two really different paths to personal development. The first path sees a problem, like a lack of responsibility, and it tries to fix it with pressure and force. But the other path, the one we're exploring here, it seeks understanding first. And that allows a truer, more empowered response to just emerge naturally.
So this leads us to a really core idea here. What if personal development isn't about becoming someone new? What if this entire journey is actually about returning to the essence of who you've always been?
So let's look at the word growth. It comes from the Latin crescere, which means to arise, to be born. And this tells us that true growth isn't some mechanical process of adding new parts or forcing yourself to improve. No, it's an organic unfolding. It's like a seed that already contains the entire blueprint of the flower it's going to become. The potential, it's already inside you.
And this brings us right to the heart of it, to a fundamental philosophy for how we can approach our own evolution. It's a process that's built on a foundation of authentic transformation, not pressured performance. This path is all about creating the space to slow down, to truly listen inward. It's about reconnecting with who we really are beneath all the noise, learning to trust our own unique rhythm, and gently, patiently uncovering the authentic self that's been there the entire time.
Because here, you are invited to transform, not to perform. Just let that sink in for a moment. This isn't another stage you have to get on. This is a workshop for your soul.
So where do we go from here? As this journey unfolds, what can you expect from our future explorations together in this space? Well, in each explainer, we're going to take these big abstract concepts, like creativity or purpose or belief, and we're going to ground them in simple, real-world examples. We'll keep using etymology to unlock the hidden power inside of words, and we'll keep connecting these ideas to the real neuroscience of how our minds actually work. So this is your invitation. If this resonates with you, if you feel a little pulled toward this quieter, more authentic way of being, then I warmly invite you to subscribe and continue this exploration with us. A new explainer is going to unfold right here every Thursday. Thank you so much for sharing this space with me today.